Hello friends, my name is Paresh and you're watching Tech Dynamics. In one of my previous videos, you might have seen how you can connect two entities in Dynamics 365 by creating entity relationships. Well, in case when you do not want to create entity relationships, there is another functionality called connections by which you can relate two entities in Dynamics 365. So in this video, we are going to discuss how you can create connections and how you can connect roles. So keep watching and stay tuned. Now, connections allow you to connect records with other entity records, and you do not need to customize or create custom relationships in order to use the connections feature. This is ultimately used for reporting purpose only, and as an example, you can connect an account with contacts or any other entity records using the connections. Now, connection roles give a name to the relationship between two connections. For example, a contact in an account entity could be a family member. So the name that you can give to that kind of connection is family members, so on and so forth. Now, to be able to enable this functionality, you need to enable the connections property for an entity and associate the connection role with the required entities. And again, you can connect the records under a common area. So let's go ahead and explore this in Dynamics 365. All right, so here we are in Dynamics 365 environment. Now let me just show you what we are talking about over here. So if we go to the accounts section and open a particular account, let's say Blue Yonder Airlines. Over here, you can go to the common area by clicking on related and then click on connections. And over here, you can click on connect and it will give you two options to connect to another from this particular record or connect to me. That means connect another record to this particular Blue Yonder Airlines. Let's make a connection to another record. Now, by default, when you try to select a record, it will give you a lookup of the accounts record itself. That is the same entity which is selected over here. We can click on search and then we can select other entities. So for example, let's just select contacts over here. And then it's going to show all the contact records in the lookup field. So let's just say we select a particular contact over here. And then this record is now attached or linked to the Blue Yonder Airlines over here. Now it will also ask, how is this contact associated with this Blue Yonder Airlines? So for example, you can select over here as an employee, let's say, and click on save and close. And all the connections will be listed over here in the connections view. So let's just go ahead and see how you can enable connections for an entity. All right, to enable the connections, you need to go to the customization or your solution and select the entity for which you want to enable the connections. So for example, over here, let's click on account and this should open the accounts properties. And over here in the properties under communication and collaboration, you will find that there is a property called connections. So once you enable this, you won't be able to disable. So make sure that you actually want to use connections for that entity and only then enable that for that particular entity. Now, once you have done this, the connections is enabled. Now, the next thing that you need to do is create connection roles. So for that, you can click on settings and then go to business management, and under business management there's something called as connection roles, and over here you can define all the connection roles that you think you would be using in your system by clicking on new. So for example, if we just go to the employer connection role over here, you can see that you can specify the name of the connection role. You can specify what is the category of that connection role. It can be business, family, social, sales, etc. And on the right hand side, you need to select for which record types that connection role would be enabled. So either you can select all, or you can select only the record types that you want to select. So for example, accounts over here, and let's just say that we enabled it for contact as well, and then click save and close. So let's just see if we can see that employer connection role in the contact that we just enabled. So if we go to the contact now and then open a contact and then click on related connections. So let's just say we just select any record over here, and in this role, if we try to search that, you will notice that the employer connection role is now available for a contact record. So that's how you can enable connections, create connection roles, and then associate two entity records with help of connection. So why don't you go ahead and try it out for yourself? Bye-bye.